Hello, hello. One, two, three. All right. Seems like we're good. How's everyone doing? It's 4th of July coming up here pretty soon. What do we have going on right now? Not too much going on right now. I would say there are a few options whenever it comes to the best 4th of July movies. In my family, we would normally go for either Independence Day or we'd go for The Patriot. It was either between those. I used to hate The Patriot growing up, just it's so long. Like it always felt like it. But honestly, over the last few years, I've kind of gone back and revisited it. Not a terrible movie. Mel Gibson does a good job. What's his name? Heath Ledger. Also, maybe it's just because so long since he's passed on. He does a very good job. How's it going to Hobbit? Good to see you. Um, but I was kind of thinking through what is the movie really to watch right now. There's something that feels I always felt weird about watching Independence Day because it doesn't really speak to much. It's just it doesn't speak to much like it doesn't have much American flair. The Patriots a good one. I might check that out later this weekend. But there's a little bit too much flag waving in that sometimes. That doing that every single year is a little bit much for me. But also it's weird that like those are like the two movies I feel that people normally go to, and they're both made by the same German director, which is a little bit weird. But I think with how crazy, just how fucking crazy everything is right now, I think something as absurd as Team America World Police is a very good pick. It had been a long time since I had seen this one. So revisiting it, it is it holds up incredibly well. And one of the saddest, I mean, it's got its problems. I'll talk about some of the problems it has. But one thing that is unfortunate watching it is that it shows how much Trey Parker and Matt Stone have, I would say, kind of fallen from the type of satire that makes them so funny. I think they've started taking their platform a little bit too seriously in the last few years in terms of mirroring exactly what's going on in the culture. But going back to this time, like the early 2000s, and they were definitely on a high for a very long time, and Team America World Police was a whole part of that. It's a hilarious movie. Team America World Police. I'll go into even some of the history of it, but yeah, obviously it's a spoof of essentially Jerry Bruckheimer movies, the type of Top Gun movie, which would probably also be a good thing to go and watch this weekend for 4th of July. It's a spoof on that type of spy action, just kind of like gusto, full on Americana type of. I mean, the theme song of the movie, which is just so hilarious. America, fuck yeah, here to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, it's just so good watching it every single time. It gets me. And the whole idea of like the best person that can save America is an actor. We need someone who the person who's going to end up taking us to ultimate safety is someone who can see a dangerous situation and just kind of act their way through it, not being fully serious. Everyone kind of acknowledging that the hero at the end of the day is nothing more than just kind of a stooge, an actor, is hilarious. And the Hobbit says my top 4th of July movie are 1776, Forrest Gump, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is a great movie. That movie's, in terms of Frank Capra, it's always It's a Wonderful Life for me, but that is absolutely a second. That's a really good movie. Um, I think the thing with Team America World Police that I enjoy so much, and the thing that we don't have very much nowadays, and I think the thing that might make it such a good watch for right now is how freely it makes fun of everyone. It clearly, like the one it's mainly making fun of on the forefront is conservatives because of all of the flag waving and all of the hurrah that you see, just American flags on everything. I mean, I guess at the time the obsession with war, but I guess in a lot of ways that's kind of making fun of multiple people. But then the way that it's making fun of, I would say, the elite liberal side, and particularly by going after the actors, it's such a good job. The way that they'll align themselves with absolutely anyone, as long as it kind of sounds like the thing that's supposed to be enjoyed, the thing that is supposed to be said, kind of like the I support everything type of movement. And the way that they're respectful of each side, but still incredibly, they draw this line of being respectful and disrespectful. Like the Alec Baldwin, it's hilarious that Alec Baldwin is the one that's leading the actors. Looking back on that, and he's the head of the Film Actors Guild Award, and every single time it shows an actor when it's introducing them, it has the acronym of Film Actors Guild in front of them. It's just perfect. It's so like it does that wonderful of being so in your face, but not on the nose. But that type of way of being able to make fun of everyone and doing it in such a good, genuine way, it really feels like the type of thing um, that would be able to bring several people together. But it just can't happen nowadays. But I feel like there's enough time that's gone by between this movie that watching it, it is the type of like, how in the world did they get away with that? But Trey Parker and Matt Stone always have had that, and they're very, very good at it, and they're very good at it here. So I don't know if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I wanted to go through a little bit of the history of the movie because when you think about it, it is a weird movie that exists. There's a story about it was made by Paramount, and whenever Trey Parker and Matt Stone first showed it to the Paramount executives, they showed just that they started with the first scene, and the first scene, if you've seen the movie, it is of a close up of a very, very crude drawing of Paris, and then a very, very badly made puppet falls in front of it. And one of the executives of Paramount stood up and went, "They fucked us," thinking that was how the entire movie was going to look. But then it pans back and it shows just everything like this creation of Paris, and it's like immaculate, the miniatures that they have, and then everyone is like, okay, all right, never mind. But just the way that they troll everyone all the time is so funny. But just kind of have a little bit of the history here pulled up of the making of the movie. It's apparently based on the type of Thunderbirds type of story that was made a long time ago. The very, very obvious, very kind of like in your face exposition type of story, and they wanted to go with that. They wanted to make fun of a movie like that whenever they heard that they were going to make it a live action movie, and they decided they were going to make a puppet movie. And they heard that The Day After Tomorrow was coming out, and the plot of Day After Tomorrow was essentially global warming destroys the world. They thought that was the stupidest thing ever, so they decided they were going to make a puppet version of The Day After Tomorrow called The Day After the Day After Tomorrow. But nobody was going to put money behind that. So instead, they decided to go for this type of like Jerry Bruckheimer kind of spoof movie. And just going through all of the way that they made fun of people like Michael Moore, because essentially Michael Moore pissed them off with the way that he featured them in Bowling for Columbine. And they go through like there's the reasons they went after George Clooney and Matt Damon. Like they went after Matt Damon just because the puppet was they came in and it looked kind of like a Neanderthal, so they decided they were just gonna go after it in that type of way. And the other interesting point was kind of the ratings, the way that they went about getting a rating. There was a quote here where they said they were in back and forth with the board. They said it can't be, and this is about the sex scene that had happened. That was the thing that got them the NC-17 rating when it first came out. They told him it's a back and forth with the board. They said it can't be as many positions, so we cut out a couple of the sex positions. We love the golden shower, but I guess they said no to that. But I just love that they have to watch it. Seriously, can you imagine getting a videotape with just a close up of a puppet's asshole and you have to watch it? Just the level of storytelling that they work with. You can hear that in some of those videos where they're kind of doing the productions of they're doing the behind the scenes productions of the South Park show, but then also just you can even see it in Book of Mormon, the way that the amount of attention to detail in the story, something like that. But at the same time, they're able to be so childish and so flippant in a way that's very, very charming. And they don't really do that very much anymore. But still, I think that it's a very good movie, particularly for the 4th of July, because of how good it does. It's a good story. The parts of the movie that aren't great are the parts where it's the parts just kind of before the third act. It kind of has that thing that most 2000 movies had. There's just such a lull in between the end of the second act, beginning of the first. It feels like such a by the numbers type story. And it's like a 15-minute lull. But other than that, I think that it is still a very, very, very funny movie, a good movie to watch right now because it does such a good job of shitting on everyone. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Give other suggestions in the comments for good 4th of July movies. And thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.